Get your stinking rat out. It's late night large.
Welcome to a late night large that arrives safely despite your directions. Disguising fast food as his own cooking is me, Aaron Bliss, while somehow believing my house burning down is the Northern Lights is Mike Large.
All right.
How are we doing, Mike?
Yeah, just trying to get my head around that intro. But
Whoa. What? You telling me you didn't get the steamed hams reference? Oh, renounce your, what are you, Generation Z? Renounce whatever generation card you've got. That's shameful. No steamed hams for you. Anyway, we're in another week of lockdown. Glorious lockdown. We've entered February, so to everyone watching in lockdown large world, you survived January. Well done.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I think there's two ways of looking at that. How the fuck is it? Where's January gone? But also, thank fuck January's gone.
Yeah, I spoke to someone on the phone at work actually, and they said something interesting that I was like, I think I was a little bit too enthusiastic. I was like, yeah, you're completely right. But he was completely right. It was like we're in this weird vortex where time is going incredibly slowly and incredibly fast at the same time. It just, every day seems to be just a grind and like trying to maintain stimulation and not picking holes in the walls with your fingers and trying to keep yourself motivated to get up again. And then you just look at the calendar and go, what? It was like Christmas 5 minutes ago. And here we are with February. It'll soon be spring.
Yeah.
You had a good week, Mike?
I've had a week.
That's good enough.
7 days.
Check it out.
Yeah, they came and went. Slept a little bit. Got up. Yeah, so really fucking exciting, actually. Yeah.
Is it just me, or have you found yourself savouring sleep more than you normally would? Like it's like your escape to another world, because everything else is just so unstimulating. It's like you have a nice dream and it's like, wow, that was really cool. Just I don't know.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I've done nothing. You've achieved nothing, you lazy piece of shit. You've done nothing. How dare you sleep?
Ouch.
How dare you? That's how hard I am on myself. So
Feel for you, Mike.
Yeah, I feel for me. Please do. Pity me. It's fine.
We will.
I've accepted pity.
Well, it's all you can rely on, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, this week, aside from the misadventures of Bliss and Large, this week has been mildly interesting. A few updates from lockdown world, a few things in the news related to lockdown. The bad news is, spoiler, nothing's really got much better, but here we are to shed light on how much worse or similar things are. So, Mike...
Yeah, I don't think anyone thought it was going to get better, did they? Yeah.
No. To be fair, I mean, we never give people the impression that there's any optimism to be found. But hey, we got through January. And we're still here. If you're still here, give yourself a pat on the back. Click that subscribe button. And I'm afraid I'm going to start with the bad news first. You know how traditionally, do you want the good news or the bad news? Let's get the terrible news out of the way first. Yeah, this week... It's almost like if you could pick a news story, that would be like, how about we pick one of the small, tiny little good news stories from last year and shit all over it. Captain Tom Moore, the old dude who, shuffled around his garden, earned, what was it, millions for the NHS charities, got himself a knighthood, seemed to be, a proper old patriot in the right sense of the word. We all kind of saluted him and said, him and Marcus Rashford, boys of the year, whatever. the news came in this week. He's contracted COVID and is in hospital. Have you read about this, Mike?
I've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's not great news. I mean, yeah, you look at it and you think, well, the old boy's about 4,000 years old. So you know that potentially isn't great for him.
No, it's worrying.
But we knew that there's a high chance that at some point he, like everyone else, was probably going to get it. So
Sadly,
you know, it's just the reality of the situation. It doesn't make any better.
no. A couple of things I noticed about that, Mike, though. A couple of questions that popped into my head.
Well,
So, like you just said, he's nearly 4,000 years old. First question that popped into my head is, why has he not been vaccinated? Because I thought they were prioritised, the people of that age group. So that was the first question.
Knights of the Round.
Second, huh?
Especially Knights of the Round.
Well, yeah. I would have thought his age category would put him in top priority. We get lots and lots of trumpeting from the government, 8 million vaccinations, and then you look at how many have had both vaccinations, less than 1 million. Okay, so fair enough. But you would have thought he'd had at least one dose, and I'm not sure why. So maybe that's questions to be answered of the government or the local NHS. I don't know. And the second question that came into my head was, who's he caught it off? I mean, he's a top boy, but he's not the most active. You don't imagine him getting out and about, particularly in COVID era. So you can only imagine he's either caught it from a family member who visited him or a carer. And again, you come back to the old, why was the carer not vaccinated as a priority? I can't do much, obviously, if it's a family member. I'm sure they were trying to be careful, but yeah, I don't know. Those questions kind of popped into my head. I know the most important thing is hopefully the old boy makes a full recovery, or if the worst happens, let's hope it doesn't. But if the worst happens, he doesn't suffer. But yeah, it's just shit news, really, isn't it? Not optimistic at all.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a shit one. Yeah, so yeah, as promised, you started on the shit news.
Yeah,
but I'm just wondering where this non-shit news is.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, I said the worst news.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, as much as Lockdown Large mocks anything and everything, we do wish you all the best, Captain Sir Tom Moore. Hopefully you get out and continue to be the boy. So fingers crossed. So the other big news, I think this week, biggest news was, have you read much about this vaccine dispute? I think it's particularly related to the AstraZeneca dose. Was it the AstraZeneca or the Pfizer? I think it was the AstraZeneca. The AstraZeneca doses moving between the EU and the UK.
Yeah, so I mean, bit of a hold up there, wasn't there? I mean, I think Bojo said, "Look, if you're gonna fuck about, I'll airlift them in." Did you see that? Did you hear that?
Let me guess. I'm sure that was in one of the Brexit rags.
Oh, it was in some trashy paper, yeah. But yeah, it was like, oh, you know, the same. I think it was probably the same one who heralded him as like some sort of hero. So
Yeah.
the headline was like, "Brexit won, Brussels nil." Fuck off. But yeah, hero Boris Johnson was on the phone to that bird, I can't remember her name, and was like for 7 hours or something, and fucking said, "Listen, bitch, you know, you're gonna fucking do what I want, because I'm fucking England, yeah." That's basically how they sold it. So, look, if you're gonna fuck about, love, I'm just gonna fucking airlift him in. Do you know what I mean? I'll get some fucking helicopters and planes over there, whatever. I'm gonna get them in by air. Stop being a bitch. Do you know who I am? Do you know where I'm fucking from? And then, you know, they backed down. Bojo got his way. So you know,
That's
what a
that's a
fucking hero.
glorious rewriting of history there from whichever newspaper
He's
printed that
basically
shit.
Winston Churchill.
Yeah. Do you know what? By the way, before we go on, Mike, I'm definitely think we should think about commissioning a series with you as a Boris Johnson character speaking like that, because I think it's a brilliant alternative to the spitting image character, which also is also brilliant. But I like the way you did that. So watch this space. Maybe Lockdown Large will consider that kind of series. But yeah, I'm not. It doesn't surprise me at all to know that a Brexit, the Brexit brigadiers have hailed him as a hero. Which reminds me, apparently Harold Shipman once saved a couple of patients. Fucking hero, proper hero he was. Sorry, I mean I know that's slightly over the top, but you know, did Harold Shipman lead to the deaths of 100,000 people? Anyway, so the EU vaccine dispute, it was. Do you think? I don't know if you think it was a storm in a teacup, Mike, but there was a lot of misinformation. So the Brexit rags obviously printed it as, oh, look at what the EU are doing. They're so angry at us. They're going to stop us getting vaccinated. They're jealous of how good Britain's doing now we're out of the EU, which of course is complete bollocks. But you know, to be fair, the EU didn't cover themselves in glory on this. It wasn't their finest hour. I think really they need to look at themselves and how they're getting the vaccine out, instead of implying that they will prevent transit to a country that's not exactly, you know, we're not a criminal gang that's bringing them in on gunboats. It's perfectly legal I mean, fair play. We can't get proper food, car parts, or anything through the borders, but we somehow are getting vaccines in. So fair play to whichever government minister is actually doing his job for once. But yeah, because I did read that Ursula von der Leyen was, I think, talking about we were going to remind AstraZeneca of the contract that they signed, and you know the fact that they're not allowing us to have enough of the vaccine. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want us to have more vaccine than anyone else, because the bottom line is it's a global pandemic. So everyone needs to be vaccinated eventually, unless you're going to ban unvaccinated people from traveling. Like, we all need to be vaccinated eventually. So it doesn't do any good to say, no, that country's getting too much of it. We need to block it from there, and we need to hoard it until we've balanced it out. Everyone needs to keep a cool head and just ratchet it down. Sorry, Mike, what did you want to say?
I disagree. We're fucking England, mate. Yeah?
Are you getting into the Boris Johnson mode again?
We're fucking England. Fuck everyone else. Give us all the vaccines. Right? Who are you going to give them to? The fucking French. Fuck the French. Right? Fuck the French. Fuck the Germans, for that matter. Right? We're better than them. We proved it twice. Yeah?
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Fuck everyone else. Fuck everyone else. Get them to England, yeah?
Yeah, listen. Go on, Captain Gammon. Give us your vaccines, you slags. Yep. Bring out your vaccines. I like this character, Mike. I tell you what, I like in this character development. I think maybe
we could develop it. We could turn it into something. Yeah. Let's do something with it.
We're going to figure this out. It's going to be some kind of Captain Gammon or an avant-garde version of Boris Johnson. So anyway, the thing about the EU vaccine thing was, don't believe the hype. The EU didn't cover themselves in glory, and Britain was not heroic, and Boris Johnson particularly was not heroic. They're blowing smoke up your ass to detract from the fact, and this was going to be the next thing I discuss, Mike. Official confirmation, although we already knew it because the Office of National Statistics confirmed this quite a while ago, that Britain has now passed 100,000 deaths of its citizens from COVID-19. We've already discussed, per capita worst death toll in the world, right near the top. Somebody made a really interesting tweet the other day that said, we're an island nation that's managed to have a worse record than a country that doesn't have universal health care, United States. Now, whatever you think about, he's doing his best. That is just a shocking indictment of all the advantages we had And, you know, I know we've gone through them a lot, but we knew about this a lot earlier than countries like Italy, who were hit without warning. We're an island nation. We can literally close our borders whenever we want. The fact that Boris Johnson missed 5 Cobra meetings because he was too busy on his little wanky holiday to celebrate how amazing he was at winning the majority so he could shack up with his new mistress after he left his ex-wife dealing with cancer. And by the way, I'm not throwing that in as a flippant thing. I mean, that's just a fact. Boris Johnson left his wife. I think they were married. I read that they were married for about 25 years. I can't guarantee that, but the bottom line is he left her for his secretary when she was recovering from cancer treatment and looking after his kids, obviously. So this is the caliber of the person who's allowed 100,000 British citizens to die during his tenure. And Mike, I know what you're going to say. You're just going to laugh at me and talk about how much I hate Boris Johnson, but do you really think there's any defense when you say, why hasn't he resigned? Particularly when you think of prime ministers in the past, of things that they've resigned over. Now, if let's just go back to what the medical professionals said when this was first breaking, March, April, when they were giving us these updates that we were all like glued to the telly over. They said 20,000 deaths would be a good result. So we all thought, oh, okay, well, we might have 30,000 then. To have 5 times that amount, and most likely we'll probably add at least another 50,000 onto that, because we're in the depths of winter and statistics are rolling in all the time. We know, I think it's only this week that we've stopped having 12 to 1,500 deaths a day. Why hasn't he resigned, Mike? Or do you think there's any defence that he shouldn't have to resign based on that?
I think it's a difficult one. I think that I agree with what you said earlier about the whole Boris is doing his best thing. Firstly, he isn't, and secondly, I think I saw something somewhere as well on some sort of post that said exactly that, actually. About Boris doing his best, and someone put, why are you praising him for doing his best? He's the prime minister, not a 4-year-old. Do you know what I mean? He's not someone who's trying to learn how to tie his shoelaces, or trying to get their head round writing their name, or the fucking prime minister. Like,
Mike. Sorry, just to quickly interrupt. I like where you're going with this, but what I was just going to throw in, do you think this is unique to a prime minister, how much he's infantilized? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, but that's his thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but you think that that's unique to him? Because I don't remember any other prime minister ever getting like, oh, let's pat him on the head. Oh God, it's so horrible. He has to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that is right. Yeah, but then I think there's two. Again, there is 2 ways of looking at that. There is, that's very much Boris's kind of MO, isn't it? To be the kind of the hapless clown, like, oh yeah, look how lovable I am. Look at my hair, it's stupid.
My flies under.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about me. Sorry, kids. Oh,
want to see my elephant?
Yeah. But also, to be fair, no other in recent times, definitely no other prime ministers had to go through this. So, we've said it before, and I'm no different. It's a fucking difficult job. You could be the most competent person in the world, the best of all fucking thing, anything, any possible kind of attributes that you'd want in a prime minister. You could literally tick all of those boxes, and be God's gift to fucking politics or whatever, right? And this would still be difficult, and it'd still be shit, and people would still die. And so that, you know, so there is that. When we slag him off, I think it's easy, especially with you, because you go fucking hell for leather at the bloke because you don't like him. But it is easy to forget that actually, you know, it doesn't matter who you put there, things were going to get shit. Do I think that's, am I in any way, shape or form letting him off the hook? No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But it's too, I think it's too easy just to go one way and go, fucking wanker, what have you done? When actually we don't know. We don't know how much better things would be in this country if someone else was doing it instead of him.
Hold on.
And you know, it isn't just him.
No, it's not. No. Okay, let me throw this at you quickly, Mike. Someone else I really don't like either. But let me throw this at you. Do you think we'd be looking at a situation like this if Tony Blair was the Prime Minister?
It's really fucking hard. It is hard. It's hard.
Do you know?
Probably not. Probably not.
No. I would say. By the way, you know, anyone, for instance, who you know, cards on the table. I can't stand Tony Blair, but anyone who thinks this is a party political thing, you know, Boris Johnson could say 100,000 dead. How many dead people do you have? Because, you know, Tony Blair's got quite a lot of dead Iraqis and soldiers on his hands. So they both know how to lead to the deaths of many civilians. But what I think is, no matter how much I despise the man and how sociopathic he is, Tony Blair would never have allowed 100,000 citizens to die. I mean, you could argue it's because he had a hard-on for authority, so he would probably have shut everything down and had bloody goon squads patrolling the streets to stop anyone leaving their houses. But the bottom line is, I don't think we'd have had. I'm not sure we'd have even had half the amount of deaths if Blair was Prime Minister.
No, I think that's impossible to say. I don't think you can say that with any.
Of course, it's speculation. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say that with any degree of certainty.
Maybe not. Like I say, we've only got other comparable countries to.
Yeah, I mean, look. Do I think, you know, do I suck a Blair dick? No, but you know, again, there are different reasons to dislike Tony Blair. Again, I probably don't dislike him as much as you do. You just fucking hate everyone. I mean, I thought I hated everyone. I thought I'm a miserable cunt, hate everyone. Anyone who's a politician, you seem to have an extra layer of hatred for.
Funny that.
Surpasses even what I'm capable of. You just can't abide by them at all. Do you know what? And sometimes I understand it, but no. Do I suck a Blair dick? No. Do I think he'd have dealt with it better than Boris Johnson? Probably, but I mean, I'm not saying we're out of the woods yet, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? You know, if someone said to you 18 months ago, right, by the way, round the corner, there's a global pandemic. This is what, you know, how do you reckon Boris will do?
Yeah, but to be fair, Mike, to be fair, I was one of many people who said, for fuck's sake, don't vote for Boris Johnson. So I don't see how you can then say, well, you didn't know that he'd handle this so badly because we didn't know there'd be a pandemic. I knew he would handle anything badly. So if we got the worst thing happen,
everything, voting. Anyone wants to know anything, just fucking ring Aaron. He'll tell you. Boris, get on the blower, mate. You're missing the trick here. Get on the blower. He'll tell you exactly what to do and how to do it and when to do it. Don't worry about it, boys.
I believe you mean get on the grower. Okay, well, that's enough of that. And finally, Mike, you might have heard that Boris Johnson decided to make a rather contentious trip to Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah. Did you read about this at all? Do you know the context for this?
I know he went up there. Go on,
Any idea?
tell us as for why.
Okay, because I was quite interested to see why, because the obvious counter argument to that, which the SNP made quite clearly, and I would have thought was pretty obvious, is you're trying to convince everyone to stay at home except for essential travel. You're traveling up right to the north of the country to visit Scotland for what reason? Oh, he's visiting a vaccination centre. For what reason? To encourage people to get vaccinated. Now, if you know anything about the people of Scotland, the last person they want to see encourage them to do anything is Boris Johnson. Like, as much as you think I don't like him, Scottish people really do not. And obviously, there's probably a handful who do, but the majority of Scottish people, Boris Johnson represents everything they hate about Westminster. You know, aloof, Eton educated, posh, bumbling, colonial mindset. Talks of Scotland as if they're just a power to be toyed with. To have him sort of go up there to do some photo opportunities in a vaccination centre, again, you just shook your head and just like on every level, it doesn't make sense. So on the level of, will it achieve what you want it to achieve, i.e. encourage wavering people to get vaccinated? No, because Scottish people think Boris Johnson is a buffoon. You could have got pretty much any other Tory minister, maybe other than Matt Hancock or Priti Patel, but any other Tory minister to go up there and they would have at least had some effect. Nobody will ever listen to Boris Johnson, so failed on that. Should he go up there to encourage Scotland to believe in the union more? Very political. You could argue, is that really essential? But again, every time he makes an appearance up there, more people agree with the SNP that Scotland should get independence. So he's failed on that as well. So I was just saying, Mike, can you think of a justification for that trip, really, when you think of the message it gives off to the rest of the country?
No, I don't really get it. I mean, so if he's going to a vaccination centre, no, I don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
I don't get it. So if he's going to a vaccination centre to cheer on the workers that are there and to inspire some kind of, do you know what? I can't think of anything. I can't think of, if he's going there to try and G up the troops and say, do you know what, really fucking fantastic job. I really appreciate, what you guys are doing here, etc. If it's for that purpose, then, well, that's nice, but I'm sure they'd rather say, actually, we've got a hard enough job, just fuck off and stay over there, thanks.
Yeah, maybe go to a phone call would have done.
Yeah, get a Zoom on the go or something and do whatever. But no, I don't get how Boris Johnson turns up in the local vaccination centre and all of a sudden all the Scottish people are like knocking on the door, banging on the windows. Give me a vaccine! Come on! What? No, I don't. No, don't do it. That's not essential travel. It's under the guise of PM. It's for your job, but no, don't be a prick. What do you get? They don't like you in Scotland. Why do you want to go to Scotland anyway? Why do you want to go somewhere people don't like you? And I know that makes it extremely limited for him, but why do you? What? I don't get it. Who's got in his ear and gone? Do you know what? Bojo? I reckon you should go up to Scotland. Next week, we'll arrange a little trip. Go up to Scotland. They'll love it. Go into a test centre, smile at a few people with your like fucking scraggly hair, roll your sleeves up like he does, and walk around just generally looking like a fucking buffoon. And they will love it. They'll all get vaccinated instantly. They'll fucking love England. They'll love you. They'll love our party. If you go up there and do that, brilliant. Do it. Who said that? Who put that idea in his head? And if someone has said that to him, why has he not said, "What the fuck are you on about? Shut up, you tit. Why don't I go there?" Like, what?
I think what happens is somebody tells him that, and he's like, "Is that right?" And then he takes one look at himself in the mirror, is like, "Yeah, they fucking love you, Bojo. Let's go."
I don't know what happens, but no. Do I think it was essential or wise for him to have done it? No. I mean, he must have known he'd get criticised for it, or he'd open himself up to criticism.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. Like, it did depress me because one thing about it, and I know a lot of people this won't mean much, but leader of the opposition Keir Starmer got asked about this on the radio show he appeared on, and he said, and he basically completely defended him and said, "Oh, of course it's part of the job. The Prime Minister needs to get around." Now, I completely understand why he gave that answer, but it really depressed me because, I mean, first of all, it's bullshit, because that's not answering the question. Saying the Prime Minister needs to get around and get on the ground for things, that still doesn't explain why he needed to go to Scotland for a photo opportunity. To me, it was very much a like, oh, I'm not going to say anything to rock the boat. You know, I'm pro-establishment. Prime Minister should do what he can for the country. But what do you think he was doing for the country, Keir? Can you explain to us? Because we don't understand. Obviously, Boris Johnson is just going to give us a load of waffle. Can you explain to us why it was an essential trip to go up to Scotland to get his photo taken at a vaccination centre? Give us some insight. But that's the state we're in, unfortunately. So yeah, another week in COVID hell. Anything to add, Mike? Before we kind of wind down?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else like major that we probably need to cover on that front. So
I think the good news is the death count seems to be dropping. Thank God.
Oh yeah, so look, well, there is some good news.
There's some good news. The hospital admissions I don't think are dropping, but they are plateauing, fortunately. So people, please still stay safe. Don't be an arsehole. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth. Don't, you know, I have to say, just on a really serious note, you know, I read some Instagram pages, some NHS ones, and there was one that was telling an anecdote about, I think, an 8-year-old boy, and they'd got him to dress up in this full-length hazmat gear, and they were trying to say to him like, "Oh, you look like a doctor now," you know, trying to make it big cosplay. Why was he in a hazmat suit? He's visiting his 48-year-old Uber driver dad who was terminally ill with COVID and died not long afterwards. So, you know, I know we normally take the piss and try and make things light-hearted, but just in case anyone is prone to that bullshit about, oh, it's not quite that bad, and oh, there's empty hospital corridors. These are fucking real people, like kids having to lose their parents to this disease. So for fuck's sake, people, try and keep yourself and other people safe until we're through the worst of this, because we're not going to get any help from the government. And me and Mike have had another unforgettable luncheon, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And please try and keep your spirits up until we see you next time, because we got through January together, and we can get through February. Who knows? We'll get through February together too, and then we'll nearly be in spring, and you know, things will start to look better. I'm sure they will.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you hit the little subscribe button, click that little bell that tells you when we have a new episode. Thumbs up. Give us a cheeky comment, abusive to Mike, no doubt.
Nah.
And just quickly mention as well, you might have been aware, I don't know whether we've mentioned this before, but we've got a new little side project of Late Night Large that we'll be releasing quite soon, called Lockdown Large Extra Time, where we have a bit of general football banter. Maybe we'll talk about some of the stuff, but at the moment it's going to be some football banter, so caters to another audience. Perhaps you enjoy that kind of stuff. there'll be punchier videos, and they'll be on the channel. So look for those. And until next time, stay safe, and that's all I got.